Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name's Citrus, and oh boy, you better buckle up because today we're hopping on the Wayback Machine and venturing back in time to the year 2009. Whoa, 2009 it is, eh? Today we're gonna be drawing some fan art of my favorite things when I was young. And listen here, little fella, you better get prepared because we are embracing the full-on cringe. That's right. Why kill the cringe when you could just accept it and be truly free? So come along with me as we jump back into my childhood and draw some pictures. Here we go! I will not be apologizing for that bit, but if you made it all the way through it, congratulations! You've survived your first taste of cringe, and as a reward, I'm gonna draw some Neopets for you. Now, Neopets has had a huge resurgence this last year or so, I would say. So much so that even I made a new account and started playing again recently. And I can't exactly say that it's fun or that I would highly recommend it, but I can say that I have been thoroughly enjoying it. I'm working towards getting my dream pets right now, and I just need to save up roughly 4 million more Neopoints. Just 4 million. Oh my god, why did I get back onto this site? Anyways, what's kind of spurred this whole video is that I wanted to draw some Neopets fan art. And as I was drawing this, I couldn't help but think how excited the child version of myself would have been to see it. And then I thought more about that child version of myself and all the things that they liked and all the things that they would have loved to have fan art of, and well, video concept. So this first piece of work is Aishina, the Aisha Guardian of Neopia. I feel like Neopets species-wise, this is one of the most iconic when you think of the brand. And when I started my new account, I started with one that was named Willerick. So it just made sense that for the fan art, I was going to be doing it. It's going to be an Aisha. I flipped through the Neopets wiki looking through some notable members from that species, and there are a ton of really fun ones, mostly women I will say. But as a Sailor Moon fan, when I came across this particular character, I couldn't help seeing her and thinking, it's giving Sailor Senshi. So let's make it give even more Sailor Senshi, and I got to work drawing and redesigning her just a bit. I'll also let you know that I have been trying to submit this to the Neopets art contest so that I can get that dang stamp for my collection, but also because as a kid, I tried to submit art to the contest so many times, and it was never chosen, and so now I am determined to do it. As of this video going up, I haven't been accepted yet, but if I do, I'll leave it down in the description so you guys can keep up to date with my Neopets shenanigans. Now, as for the character, she's from the Guardians of Neopia, which is the Neopets version of, like, the Avengers. And they're kind of this super crew in the magical world, and so I decided when I was drawing this that I wanted to ink it in a comic book style with darker shadows and heavy inking, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. You guys ever play Neopets? Let me know in the comments below. This is almost done, so let's get right into the finished product, okay? Here we go. And now I want to talk about something very important to me, the Warriors books. These books are amazing. They're untoppable for their time period. This is a group of books, I think there's like 40 or 50 of them now actually, based on cats living in the wild and the societies that they have built and the relationships that they have and fighting and wars and etc. They had really cool maps in the books that I was in love with. Anyways, I loved these books so much that me and my best friend went online and found a roleplay forum for them. So I'm gonna draw one of my old roleplay cats. So let's start this one by talking about furries. Yes, furries. I just have to commend the furry artist community for their animal drawing abilities. I found this so difficult to do. As someone who doesn't often draw animals and for some reason decided to do it without reference, this piece was a really rough run on my brain. So this piece is my Warriors OC, Quailheart. Listen, if you didn't read the Warriors books growing up, I don't have the vocabulary to properly explain the naming intricacies in cat lore to you. But just understand that this is a perfectly normal name for a Warriors cat. So I used to roleplay as Quailheart when I was 11, and I actually didn't even create her myself. I answered a post on the roleplay boards we were on, looking for a specific partner to play a character that was written into another character's backstory, yada yada yada, and thus, in a very roundabout way, Quailheart became mine. Actually, while I was making this video, I decided to see if I could go back on the boards and find any of the old role plays, and lo and behold, I was able to find some of them in the archives, which is crazy because these forums are literally from 2009. That's 15 years ago. I guess the internet really is forever. It's kind of worrying. So I did spend a few hours trolling around and rereading my old bad role plays, and I have to tell you, I loved it. I loved that version of myself who was so excited to talk about their characters and make friends online and create stories and worlds together. Warriors roleplay is probably why I'm so into D&D now. It was actually really cathartic to draw this piece for that little me. I can just imagine how excited he would have been to see it. He probably would have been a little critical asshole, but he couldn't spell the word judge, so who's he to talk? No, seriously, while I was reading through the post, I spelled judged Jujed, and no one corrected me. I just went about my business believing that was how the word was spelled. I absolutely blame the Florida education system for that one. Role-playing with my friend and being Quailheart is one of my fondest memories from growing up, and this art of her brings me so much joy. I will say I wish I had used a reference for this because I think it could have come out so much better if I was actually paying attention to the proportions and anatomy of a cat, but I'm still generally happy with the outcome. Maybe not enough though. She looks cute, but she could be cuter. Anyway, here's the finished piece. Actually, remember how I said I had wished I'd used a reference on this? Well, I was having so much fun reminiscing that I decided to draw her again. This time with reference, and this time not alone. I told you guys I used to roleplay with my best friend, and I also told you that Quailheart was created as a character in another character's backstory. Well, when I decided to keep drawing after the first piece, I figured I'd put Quailheart with the two characters she spent all of her time with. My best friend Zosie, Ice Soul, and our forum friend who we only knew as Panda Zosie, Frostbite. You'll see the photo references I use on screen as I draw, and now I'd like to dive a bit further into these characters by telling you their story. You'll need a little bit of lore knowledge to understand all of this. Ready? There are 4 clans of cats that live within an area that the books takes place in. They go through their lives being mostly raised to be warriors to defend their territory and hunt to keep the clan going, and etc. For the premise of these characters specifically, you only really need to know that. The rest is up to you to research. So here's the story of a triangle, the most vile shape love can come in. Quailheart and Ice Soul grew up in Shadow Clan together. They apprenticed at the same time, and though Ice Soul had a stern and mean exterior, and Quailheart was weak and small for her age, the two still managed to become close friends. This went on for a few years of their lives, living in the clan and going about their business, becoming warriors and assuming their places in their society. But Ice Soul had kept a secret from Quailheart during their childhood, and that secret would one day come to tear at their friendship. For you see, there was a male. Frostbite was a large tomcat, which was good because being white with dark gray stripes did not lend itself to hiding. So since flight was not an option, his size lended itself to the fight. The she-cats of Shadow Clan all took notice to the size of him. His might was powerful enough to feel on the air. Quailheart and Ice Soul had grown up just a bit his junior, but now they were grown. And when the 3 of them were sent on patrol together one morning, Quailheart began to take a kinder notice to Frostbite's personality. He was large but soft and sweet, and she found herself becoming infatuated with him. They began to spend more time together, and the clan took notice of the budding closeness, and Quailheart confided in her closest friend Ice Soul about her feelings for the tomcat. At that moment, Ice Soul's secret crept to the tip of her tongue, but she swallowed it back down and shared her approval of the pairing. For her friend had won Frostbite's eye already. It was clear to see, and how could she spoil that by admitting her feelings for him too? If the feelings could not be reciprocated, did they matter anyways? Summer and fall passed, and winter came, and Quailheart and Frostbite fell further in love, and Ice Soul slowly became more and more distant. After a time, Quailheart came to her best friend with wonderful news. She was expecting kits. Ice Soul smiled outwardly, but inside her cracked heart finally broke. And that evening, while the couple lay asleep in their bliss, Ice Soul slunk away into the night to curl up in the snow and cease to be. However, Quailheart was no fool. She noticed her friend growing distant, and though she asked many times and Ice Soul always denied it, she knew something was wrong. She just didn't know what. So when she woke that night and her friend was missing, she woke up Frostbite and the two went searching. Luckily, After hours of looking, they found Ice Soul in the snow, and through much labor they were able to bring her back to camp and to safety and to help. Ice Soul would live. However, another heart would be broken this eve, because during the stress and cold of the search, Quailheart's small body would become weak and she would grow sick. And when she delivered her kits months later, only one of the 4 would survive. It was at this point in the role-playing that, after a few months of storytelling together, our friend Panda got kinda bored and decided to leave the site. And Quailheart, Ice Soul, and Frostbite's stories would go to the wayside. Life and school and Gaia Online would take over our interests. But maybe there's more to tell. One day. Anyways, here's the final image of the trio. God, we were depressing 11-year-olds. Let's end on a happy note. Hamsters. I was obsessed with Hamtaro as a kid, and I used to doodle a little hamster character I came with all over my schoolwork. He was just like a regular Hamtaro knockoff, and I didn't even name him, but I had this one teacher, Mr. Johnson, who, when I would get my tests or classwork or homework back, he would always draw a crosshair of a gun over my hamster. I know, hateful, right? So I decided that when I was making this fan art of that character, that maybe I should combine that idea with the character. So I settled on this idea of an assassin hamster, dedicated on taking out Hamtaro. But he's kind of a bumbling fool who's always messing up. Think Wile E. Coyote. And then I got a bit too invested and created a little animatic for him. So without further ado, please enjoy my Hamtaro OC, Bumble.
Enjoy your date while you can, Hamtaro.
I got you now, Ham.
Are you still there? Oh, great! Thanks for sticking around and watching the rest of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed everything that I drew today. It was so much fun to revisit some of the old, maybe a little bit cringe things that I used to like back in my childhood, and I'm actually maybe having a little bit of a resurgence in a couple of these fandoms. But anyways, thank you again for sticking around, and I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.